Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we are going to be looking at something that's both really exciting and maybe a little bit scary,
Oh, yeah.
AI and API security.
Right?
So AI is like changing everything,
Yeah, it really is.
like how we work, how we order food online. But all that like interconnectedness
Hmm.
comes with, some risks,
For sure.
especially when we talk about API security.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's fascinating how much we rely on APIs, these things we don't even think about.
Yeah, I bet you a lot of our listeners have no idea what an API even is,
Right.
even if they use them like every single day.
Every day.
So can we break it down real quick? Like, what is an API and like why should we care?
Absolutely. So API stands for Application Programming Interface.
Okay.
And it's basically like the hidden language that lets different applications talk to each other.
Hmm.
So like imagine you're ordering food online.
Okay.
When you click that place order button, it's an API that's sending your order to the restaurant,
Okay.
confirming your payment, letting you know when your food is on its way.
So it's like the behind the scenes messenger making sure everything works.
Exactly.
Okay. So APIs are like the digital glue that's like holding our online world together.
Yeah.
And they're extra important in the age of AI
Mm.
because it's how all these AI systems are sharing information.
Right. Exactly. And that's where all the security concerns come in.
Right.
These APIs are like doorways into our digital lives.
Oh,
And if they're not secure, well, it's like leaving your front door wide open.
yeah, that is not a good situation.
Not good.
That's why we're diving into this report today from Kong Inc.
Right.
called API Security Perspectives 2025.
2025. Yep.
And this is packed with insights about all these new threats
Hmm.
and like what people are doing to protect themselves.
Yeah.
When you were reading this, what like jumped out at you? What's a big takeaway for our listeners?
You know what really struck me is this weird, like, contradiction.
Okay.
Like, everyone is super optimistic about AI, right?
Yeah. 83% of business leaders.
Yeah, they see all these amazing opportunities, but over half of them
Over time.
admitted to having, like, an API security incident in the past year.
So they're like gung-ho about AI,
Mm.
but over half of them are getting hit with security breaches.
Yeah,
That's like a major disconnect.
it is.
Like, shouldn't they be a little more worried?
You would think so.
A little more cautious?
Right, and even more interesting is that despite those incidents, 85% still say they're confident in their organization's security.
Wow.
It's almost like there's this blind spot.
That's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Especially because we're like just at the beginning of this whole AI revolution.
Exactly. And the report talks about how bad these security incidents can really be.
Okay.
We're not talking about like theoretical stuff.
Yeah.
We're talking about real money.
Right.
20% of these organizations said they had to pay over 500 grand
500 grand.
in the past year just to clean up after a security incident.
So this isn't just about protecting data.
No.
It's about protecting your money too.
Yep.
So what are these like IT leaders? What are they most worried about when it comes to this stuff?
When they were asked about the biggest threats,
Yeah.
AI-enhanced cyber attacks were at the top of the list.
Really?
More than like unauthorized access or data breaches.
Wow.
74% said they were very concerned about these AI-driven attacks.
So the top people in tech, they're worried too.
Yeah,
Okay, so this is serious.
very serious.
The report also goes into something called shadow APIs,
Oh, yeah.
which sounds kind of mysterious.
A little bit.
What are those and why are they a big deal?
So shadow APIs are basically APIs that are hidden within an organization.
Hidden how?
Like they might have been created for something specific and then forgotten about.
Okay.
Or they're part of some old system that nobody documented.
So it's like that box of old cords and gadgets that you're too afraid to open.
Exactly.
I have that box.
We all do.
Why are these shadow APIs such a security nightmare?
Because they're not being managed or monitored, and a lot of times they don't have any security measures in place.
So it's like having a back door to your house that you didn't know about.
Yeah.
And it's left wide open.
Exactly. The report really emphasizes how important it is for companies to know about all their APIs,
All of them.
even the ones hiding in the shadows.
Okay, so we've got AI-powered attacks on the rise.
Right.
We've got these hidden shadow APIs.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of people don't seem to get how risky this is.
Yeah.
It's starting to sound kind of bad.
Yeah, it's a little bleak.
What are organizations doing to fight back?
Yeah. Are they sitting ducks or what?
Or are they like actually taking steps to counter these threats?
Well, the good news is that they are taking action.
Okay.
92% of the organizations they surveyed are actually trying to counter these AI-enhanced threats.
That's good.
Yeah.
But like, what are they actually doing?
So some of the most common things are like ramping up their monitoring and traffic analysis,
Okay,
like installing security cameras around your house. You
gotcha.
want to see who's coming and going. Right. If there's anything suspicious happening around your APIs.
You can't just have cameras, though.
No.
You need someone to watch them.
Exactly. That's where AI-driven threat detection systems come in.
Oh,
It's like having a super vigilant security guard watching those cameras 24/7.
I like it.
They can analyze tons of data,
Mm-hmm.
spot patterns that humans might miss,
Okay.
which is super important because AI-powered attacks are so fast and complex.
No, it's like fighting fire with fire,
Yeah,
using AI to defend against AI attacks.
exactly.
Yeah.
And of course, they're also like training their staff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because even with the best technology, humans are still the weakest link.
Yeah, one wrong click and the whole system's compromised.
Exactly.
Something that really surprised me in the report was how few companies are using zero-trust architecture.
Yeah,
You hear that term all the time.
all the time.
But what does it actually mean, like, in practice?
It basically means you treat every device and every user on your network
Okay.
like they could be compromised.
That seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But the report says only 35% of organizations have actually implemented it,
Yeah, that's surprisingly low.
especially with all the big breaches we've seen lately.
Yeah, you'd think more companies would be doing this.
It's like they understand the idea, but they're not putting it into practice.
Right, and that's where the danger is.
Right, because while companies are trying to catch up,
Yeah,
the attackers are always innovating,
always one step ahead.
finding new ways to exploit vulnerabilities.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of which, let's talk about the big one, AI models and LLMs.
Oh, yeah.
LLMs are those large language models,
Right.
the brains behind all those chatbots.
No.
They can write poems and answer questions.
Even code.
Yeah. But they can also be tricked into doing things they shouldn't.
True.
So they're driving all this innovation,
Yeah,
but they also come with their own vulnerabilities.
absolutely. 77% of the IT leaders they surveyed think that AI models like LLMs
Wow.
are a big security risk.
So even the tools that are supposed to help us are opening up new ways to be attacked.
Yeah, it's kind of unsettling.
Yeah, it's like inviting a stranger into your home and then realizing you left the back door unlocked.
That's a good analogy. And this brings up the whole challenge of like governing and securing all this AI-generated traffic.
Right.
It's not as easy as just putting up a firewall or
Right.
installing antivirus software.
Right.
This is a whole new level of complexity.
It seems like we're at this really important turning point.
Yeah,
Like AI could totally transform our world for the better,
for sure.
but if we don't take these security concerns seriously,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to be in trouble.
Big trouble.
And that brings us to another really important point, that the report makes the human factor.
Oh, yeah. Even with all the fancy security technology, people are still the weakest link.
Always.
Technology can only do so much.
Right.
It's up to us to use it responsibly.
And make good decisions.
Right, but that's not always easy,
Well-
especially when you consider that 60% of people admit to ignoring their company's AI rules.
Really?
Yeah.
Like they just ignore the rules.
They click on phishing links.
Oh, no.
They use weak passwords.
Come on.
They overshare information online. And that's exactly what the attackers are counting on.
Yeah, they know that humans are the easiest targets.
The easiest.
So what's the solution?
Yeah, is it just better training, or is there something bigger we need to address?
Well, training is definitely part of it.
Okay.
But it's not just about teaching people the rules.
Well, no.
It's about helping them understand why those rules exist.
So they need to see how cybersecurity affects their lives.
Exactly, not just the company's bottom line.
That's a good point, and that's something we'll definitely be talking more about as we continue this deep dive.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because in the end, cybersecurity is everyone's responsibility, not just the IT departments.
It's about creating a culture of awareness
Right.
and vigilance,
Mm.
both at work and at home. Exactly. You know, it's interesting, this idea that we all have to do our part for cybersecurity.
Yeah, it makes you realize security isn't just about, like firewalls and stuff.
Right.
It's about people
Mm-hmm.
and like the choices they make every day
Mm-hmm.
and how those choices can affect like not just your own data, but like entire systems.
Definitely.
It's a big responsibility.
It is, but the report does give some hope, like organizations are taking steps to protect themselves.
Okay.
And there are things you can do too.
So in the last part, we were talking about how companies are using things like AI-driven threat detection systems.
Yeah.
What are some other practical things they're doing?
Well, one of the most important things is monitoring and analyzing their API traffic.
Okay, so it's like a security camera system for your APIs.
Exactly. You want to know who's trying to get in and what they're doing once they're there.
Makes sense. But how do you actually do that with APIs?
So companies are using these like advanced monitoring platforms.
Okay.
They track traffic patterns and
Mm.
they can spot things like unusual activity,
Like what kind of unusual activity?
like a sudden spike in requests from some unknown source,
Oh,
or someone trying to access data they shouldn't be
so
accessing.
it's like having a digital security guard watching your APIs 24/7.
Exactly. And they're also starting to do more proactive threat hunting.
What's that?
Instead of waiting for an attack to happen,
Yeah.
they're actively looking for vulnerabilities.
Before they can be exploited.
Right. It's like they're going on patrol looking for weak spots in the defenses.
Ah, so it's
This
not just being reactive. They're playing offense, too. I
Exactly.
like that, but this can't all be automated, right?
No, you still need human experts.
To look at the data
Yeah.
and make decisions about what's a real threat.
Right. It's this combination of human intelligence and artificial intelligence that's really powerful.
It's like you need the technology to find the weird stuff,
Right.
but then you need a human brain to figure out if it's actually dangerous.
Exactly. And that's why education is so important.
Mm-hmm.
Even with all the best tech, humans are still a weak spot.
Yeah, that's true.
So companies are training their employees about these AI security risks.
That
And they're trying to create a culture of security awareness.
makes sense, but, we talked earlier about how a lot of people just ignore the rules.
Yeah.
60%
That's
of you get
true.
people to actually care about cybersecurity.
That's a tough one. It can be kind of a boring topic.
Yeah,
One thing companies are trying is making security training more fun.
more fun.
Yeah, like using games and simulations
Oh, interesting.
and real-world examples so it's more interactive and memorable.
So make it fun, make
Mhm.
it relevant, and people will pay attention.
Exactly.
I like that. But training alone can't solve everything.
No.
We still need the tech defenses,
Right.
like those AI-driven threat detection systems.
Mhm.
Can you explain a little more about how those actually work?
Sure. So these AI-powered security systems, they're constantly learning.
Okay.
They analyze tons of data looking for patterns that could be an attack.
Oh, okay.
They can detect things like weird login attempts or suspicious downloads or attempts to access sensitive data from like a weird location.
So it's like an AI bodyguard constantly watching over your digital stuff.
Yeah, and they get smarter over time.
Okay,
And they can react to threats way faster than a human can.
that's good.
Yeah, they can block suspicious activity automatically or isolate infected devices.
Wow, so they're really important in this fight against AI-powered attacks.
Yeah, because those attacks are super fast and complex.
Okay, but let's go back to something we talked about earlier.
Fine.
Governing and securing AI models themselves.
Right, like the LLMs.
Yeah, it's not just about protecting the APIs that connect to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's about securing the models themselves.
Absolutely. These models are trained on so much data.
Right.
And if that data is compromised, the model itself becomes a risk.
Like, what if an LLM was trained on data that's biased or full of misinformation?
Yeah, that could have really bad consequences.
It's like your AI bodyguard is secretly working for the bad guys.
Exactly. So securing these AI models is super important. It starts with making sure the data used to train them is good.
Like, it's from a reliable source and doesn't have any viruses or bias.
Right. It's like making sure your AI bodyguard has a clean background check.
And a good education.
Exactly. But that's not all.
What else?
You also need to make sure that nobody who's not authorized can mess with the model or its data.
So, like putting your AI bodyguard behind a locked door
Right. And of course, you have to keep monitoring them.
to make sure they haven't been compromised.
Exactly. It's like having a whole security detail for your AI systems.
That makes sense because these models are getting more powerful all the time.
Yeah. And as AI becomes more integrated into our lives, securing these models is only going to become more important.
Right.
And it's not just about building walls and defenses. It's
Well, yeah.
about building trust.
Trust.
Yeah, we need to make sure that AI is used responsibly and ethically, and that brings us to a really interesting point.
It's interesting how we talk about AI as like this future thing,
Yeah.
but it's already here.
Yeah.
Like it's all around us.
It is.
And the more we rely on it, the more these security issues become like really personal.
Oh, absolutely. It's
Yeah.
not just about protecting like companies and organizations.
Right.
It's about protecting ourselves, our data, our privacy.
So in this last part, let's talk about what you, the listener, can actually do to stay safe in this AI world.
Yeah, what can we do?
We've talked about what businesses are doing,
Right.
but what about everyday people?
Well, a good place to start is with the basics.
Okay, like what?
Things we should all be doing anyway, but they're even more important now.
Give us the essentials.
Strong passwords.
Oh, yeah. Here we go again.
I know it sounds boring, but seriously, stop using password 123.
Yeah, for real.
Your passwords are like the keys to your digital life.
That's a good way to put
I
it.
gotta protect them.
And on that note, enable two-factor authentication everywhere.
Yes, wherever you can.
It's like an extra lock on your digital door,
It's worth it.
even if it's a little annoying.
Totally. Now, here's one that's super important with all these AI-powered services.
Okay.
Think about the data you're sharing.
Mm-hmm.
These AI models, they want all your information,
They're hungry for it.
but you don't have to give it to them.
Right. Be selective,
Yeah, read those privacy policies.
even though they're super long and boring.
I know, but it's important.
Ask yourself if it's worth it.
Yeah, do the benefits outweigh the risks to your privacy?
And it's okay to say no.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You don't have to use every new AI tool that comes along.
You can just say no thanks.
Exactly. Be picky. Another thing you can do is stay informed
Informed.
about new threats and vulnerabilities.
Okay.
Follow some good cybersecurity news sources or podcasts.
Yeah, there are tons of great ones out there.
There are, and keep your software and devices updated.
Oh, yeah, the updates.
I know they can be annoying,
They are.
but they're usually fixing security holes that hackers could use to get in.
That's like getting your digital vaccines.
Exactly. Now let's talk about an old favorite, phishing.
Oh, fish.
It's still a huge threat.
Oh.
Be careful about any weird emails, links, or attachments.
Even if they look like they're from someone you know.
Exactly. Hackers can make fake websites that look super real.
Yeah, and they can spoof email addresses too.
It's scary. If something seems off, don't click on it.
Yeah, and if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Always good advice. And here's something else to watch out for. Deep fakes.
Deepfakes. Yeah, those are freaky.
They are?
Those are videos or audio that's been manipulated with AI,
Right, to make it look like someone's saying or doing something they never did.
and they're getting really good.
So good that it's hard to tell what's real and what's fake.
It's like a whole new level of, like, misinformation.
It is so, how do we protect ourselves?
Yeah, what can we do?
You got to think critically.
Look,
Don't just believe everything you see online.
especially if it makes you feel really emotional.
Yeah, look for other sources that say the same thing.
Check your sources.
Right, and be careful about stuff that seems designed to, like, manipulate your emotions.
Don't be afraid to fact check.
Exactly. There are some great websites that can help you do that.
And remember, deepfakes often have, like, little glitches.
Yeah.
To give them away.
Like weird blinking or eye movements.
Oh, wait.
Or like blurry areas around the face.
So train your eyes to spot those little imperfections.
Yeah, those cracks in the facade.
So it's not about being paranoid.
No.
It's about being informed and taking control.
Exactly. And remember, you don't have to be a cybersecurity expert to protect yourself.
Right?
Just be aware of the risks, make good choices, and stay informed.
I like that. It's about taking responsibility for your own digital life.
Yeah, don't just assume someone else is taking care of it for you.
Cybersecurity is everyone's job.
It really is, and the more we all do our part, the safer we'll all be.
I think we've covered a lot today.
Yeah,
We talked about AI-enhanced API security threats
from all angles.
for companies and for individuals.
Hopefully you're feeling a little more prepared now.
Yeah, knowledge is power.
It is the more you know about the threats and how to fight them,
Yeah,
the better you'll be able to protect yourself.
absolutely. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It was fun.
Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay safe out there.